go home and then all the heroes keep coming on the channel, keeping me here longer.
Bring him on. Bring him on. What time do you call this, Mr. Daigle?
Look what the cat's dragged in. Charming. Listen, I would have done it from the Scotland Yard, but my God, this season, that pub is absolutely rammed. Even in the library, they put an extra TV in just so people can watch it. It was
the library. Do they call that the Arsenal room in the?
Yeah, I tried to get a nickname, the Emirates, but they won't change it. But yeah, listen, the scenes that were going on there, these Manchester City games are so dull and boring, aren't they?
Yeah, they're terrible. I mean, it takes you so long to find a goal in them, I swear.
My God, I went into this game thinking Pep's probably rubbing his hands, thinking about the team he's got to play with how depleted we were. Yeah. He must have nightmares before playing Tottenham Hotspur.
100%.
I don't even know in Spain if he had a team, or Germany where he had a team. And Man City, like, this is got to be one of the strangest hoodoos that are going about in football.
It's mad, isn't it?
What a performance.
And Brian, I was saying to Si before the game, like, usually when we're coming up against Man City and why we've got all these good results against them is because of the way we've played our football. We've sat back, we've waited for our opportunities, and we've hit them on the counter. This time was a complete switch up, right? This time we actually went for them. We tried to play our football the Ange way. They only know he ways how, and we still got the result.
I still can't understand how we did, because Man City in the first half were just picking us apart. But fair play to the lads for putting it together and keeping it down to 2-1 at half time. A couple of the players you mentioned, I heard you, Ben. I was getting on the train when I first heard you talking. I'm like you. I think Basuma was not good today. Not good today. Second half, he was better. And the goal he gave away was shades of what Christian Eriksen did in the Champions League. In the same sort of the pitch, giving that ball away, you can't do that. You can't
Pretty much the same area, wasn't it, actually?
It was the same, but there's a simple pass on. I just don't get it. Why he was facing him as well. So all you have to do is play a 5-yard pass to the byline. I think it was Ben Davis or Destiny Doggy. I can't remember who was there. But he turns around and just runs into trouble. I just don't get it.
Into free players.
It was a strange one, but the movement for the second goal was just outstanding for them. That second goal was a wild part. But you were speaking before, Kulusevski, for me, has to be a centre, has to play in the centre from now on. Has to. I think that's his position. I think against Villa, he was devastating in the first half.
Yeah.
Pretty much the same in this game. As soon as he went out wide. And you remember when we were there for the 3-2 when Harry Kane scored that header?
Of course.
Where he was in that position. And he just didn't cross it. I don't know if it was a confidence thing or whatever. He didn't have a Harry Kane in there.
That was his first start for Spurs, wasn't it?
I think it might have been his first full start, yeah. But in that game, he got the ball, checked in, crossed it. Yeah. There's so many times he was in exactly the same position and he tried to take the man on. But listen, what a header. What a header. And the other person you've got to talk about is Lo Celso. Yeah. My God.
Standing up for the team, isn't he?
Not just standing up for the team, but I think a lot of Spurs fans, I was one of them, I didn't doubt the ability. I doubted his ability to stay fit. That was the issue with him, but he has shown in the 2 games. I heard you talking, I can't remember who it was, it might have been West, and how good is it to see West again, that we took him off, and it was a strange substitution. I'm just thinking he's doing that because we just can't risk him getting injured. We've got so many games coming up right now, game after game after game. Yeah. We just cannot risk anyone picking up anything. And at 2-2, they probably thought, shut up shop. But you can't do that in this game. You just simply can't do it. But I never saw 3-3 in this game, and well done to each and every player. Seriously.
Brian, one question back on Kulusevski. You say you want to see him in the midfield more consistently now.
Yep.
So does that mean Brian Hill did enough for you to stay on that left wing?
I don't know. Do you know what it is? What I want to see is, like we saw with Villa and today, when Basuma and or Bentancur and Basuma are fit, we're obviously going to do that and Maddison. So it's just the one creative, like out and out creative. I think there's teams where we can actually afford not to have 2 sitting midfielders or 2 midfielders box to box and go with an extra creative one. So maybe when we do that, that's when we move Kulusevski in. I'm pretty convinced that Jota in, Hill out in January. I think he will go out again like he always does in January. So I think that takes care of that one. But I think Brennan Johnson is starting to come into his own, isn't he? He had a couple of decision making where he could have passed it and he didn't. But man, he put a shift in.
Definitely. I mean, we were saying earlier about the, it's 90th minute, irrespective of the quiet game or the stints here and there in a positive and a negative way. The 90th minute, he ran down that line, albeit a short space, but got that quality crossing to Kulu bang on the head. I mean, 90th minute, that's quite an accolade, to showcase how much of a top player he is and how switched on he was, because a lot of players could just switch off at that time of the game, and especially with the result as it was, the fact that he got into that position and got that cross is fantastic, right?
So where you go, right? You're bang on. Where you go with strikers? There's a game I always use with Michael Owen when I was living in Israel in 2005 or whatever. We're playing Argentina in a friendly. Michael Owen had done nothing.
Yeah, I remember that.
In the 89th minute. And in the 89th minute plus, he had 2 attempts, 2 goals, game over, England win. That's what with these strikers, where we've had a go at these defenders for switching off late in games like they did at Wolves, the players up the top have got to stay switched on for 90 minutes. And if they get that moment, they've got to make it count. That's what defies a great player to an exceptional player. And that's exactly what Brennan Johnson did today. He had to get it right. I mean, I as great as that cross was, it's an incredible header from Kulusevski.
It's beautiful.
It really is.
Right under the crossbar, wasn't it?
It was sensational. But I have to. One thing I will say: the back four were playing like tiki-taka Barcelona football amongst themselves in the second half. I was like, "What are you doing?" How we were getting out of these things. Listen, we could talk about how injury ravished this team was, but that was a team performance. That's where every man, no matter if they gave everything. This game, there is no one to. You can critique a couple of moments where we may have sat back. But once again, that is a team performance, playing the way that they've been told to play, believing in what the manager says, and sticking with it and getting the job done. And like you said, now we have the Romeros coming back. Hopefully, Sarr, from what I've seen, is apparently back next. Slowly but surely, these players come back in. And then it's just, let's keep them fit and see what we do in January and go from there. But today is all about an incredible team performance.
Unbelievable.
And setting his stall and sticking to it, especially after the back of 3 defeats.
So does that give you confidence now that we can go get the 3 points against West Ham, get the 3 points against Newcastle, start going on a run now?
West Ham, I think, will be queued up. But listen, we don't need any incentive for West Ham. We never need that. So hopefully we'll be up for that one. Newcastle, I think, is a real tough game. Real. I mean, their injury, the football they're playing. I heard you, Ben, saying about how poor Man U were. Look how they were. Chelsea were poor as well. They are actually destroying teams. They are literally Eddie Howe's football. I think the Newcastle game could be like the Man City Chelsea game a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, but Brian, you say that, but then they go lose to Bournemouth. You know what I mean? They do have these results in them.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens. But the great thing is they're both at home. If it had been, there's also a bit of revenge for Newcastle. All right, it's not away, but this is the first time since a certain game. And hopefully, the boys are now pumped up and ready and can at least feed off that performance.
Yeah, definitely.
I want to be 7-0 up for the past 5 minutes.
Well, I mean, you look at it, all those players, and you look at Davies and Emerson, who've come under heat, rightfully or wrongfully so, but they're playing out of position. Yeah, the defending was sloppy at times, but that kind of performance will put a huge amount of confidence in them.
Huge.
And listen, the rut is over. The back-to-back defeats are done. We move on, and hopefully we now go on a winning run. Wouldn't it be lovely to go on a winning run at Christmas?
Over December as well. All the fixtures come in. It would be in a great position at the end of that if we stuck to it, based on today especially.
We've got the FA Cup, which I have to say, the last time we won the FA Cup, 1991, who was the manager? Sadly left us.
Terry Venables.
Let's go get the cup for that. That's the romance of the FA Cup. The last one to hold it, Terry Venables. The year that he passes, let's go with it for Terry.
Yeah, 100%.
That'd be amazing.
Great words, Brian. Thanks for coming on, my friend. And
good to see you, Brian.
I won't see you very soon, but I'll speak to you very soon.
We'll see each other video calls, brother. Video calls. Thank God for modern technology.
Thank God
Have a
for
great
it,
one,
mate.
everyone.
You too,
later.
bro.